All right, so some of you are entrepreneurs in the room. Some of you would love to no longer be shoving your head up the ass of someone else in their vision, filling their bank account. Some of you would love to thrive at a higher level in your business, right? Let me see some hands. Some of you would maybe be cool to have a business, a functioning, thriving, consistently cash driving business. Yeah. So we're going to look at what it would take to do that. One of the best things I can give you is clarity. Clarity creates reality, as one of my coaches said. And once we have clarity on where you're at and what you truly want, then I can tell you reasonably where to go and what to do next, right? So let's do this. We're domesticated and programmed to have the worker mindset because it keeps those who are in power rich, keeps them in control. Nobody wants us to be a threat, living on a self-sustainable off-grid plot of land where no one can mess with us anymore, right? Okay, at which point it comes down to guns and laws for sure. There's a whole argument to be made about like, well, they could just send the entire army of Spain after you or something. Okay, but there are ways to become independent and sovereign. Absolutely. I've witnessed it with friends of mine to where the illegality of income taxes is something people are living without. Imagine that. And I'm not a legal professional when it comes to that. So your mileage may vary, and I'm happy to connect you with people who know better about that than I do. But long story short, living a 9 to 5 corporate existence where you're, again, feeding someone else's vision, feeding someone else's bank account, barely making it through, at the end of the day, exhausted, running on fumes, is not who you're meant to be. You're meant to be free. And I've lived it, I've experienced it for the better part of a decade now. Doing what I love, getting paid well. Who wants that? All right, great. Here's how you do that. First, you've got to activate your money magic alignment. What does that mean? Well, I've witnessed people manifest. Manifest means to use the power of your mind and your imagination to activate both inspiration and receiving. Some of you have heard the story of me bringing in an unexpected $2,500 after donating $2,500 to people around me, right? Or the equivalent in its coaching. I've seen people have unexpected income sources open up. I've seen them receive $3,000 refunds suddenly, or a check in the mail, or um, money suddenly becoming available, or a client who was, I was going to follow up with him months later, calling me up and saying, now it's time for me to pay you high ticket to join a coaching container of yours. It is the will of heaven that you be provided for if you are here in service to us all. If you're oriented towards being a contribution, if you're oriented towards making the biggest and the best difference you can for everybody who is here through your unique gifts and talents, through living your purpose, through executing on your Dharma. So if you're not activating your money magic alignment, you're literally leaving money on the table. And this is generally based on the work of Feel Free to Prosper, 2 Weeks to Unexpected Income by Marilyn Janae. But what we found is she doesn't go far enough. She helps you to sow new seeds, but she doesn't help you to get rid of the weeds. So we built a whole program called Money Magic Alignment. Abram, was that awesome? Yeah. Abram's been one of my top students over the past year and a half almost now. And he's executed money magic alignment, and it's produced staggering, amazing results. I cannot tell you how many times I didn't know how things were going to work out. And I simply did the written down and visualization and imagination exercises to appropriate. See, abundance is looking to flow to you because it's your birthright as a child of freaking God. But unless you stand under the running water faucet, it's not going to fall on you. Unless you open the window to get the sunlight in, unless you breathe in the air that's around you, it's not going to be available to you. So, scale of 0 to 10, how many of you are already currently right now experiencing money miracles and synchronicities and serendipities on a regular basis? One would be no. 10 would be yes, I live by this. Now, God ain't your bitch. You may get manifestation right, but we're here on Earth School to play with Earth tools according to Earth rules. Some of those are marketing, messaging, and sales and business infrastructure. So if you know how you serve, but you don't know how to create demand for it, then you'll be on the income roller coaster. We're going to talk about wealth dynamics in a second, but basically what that looks like is being at what we call red level, just over broke. Most of the working world and most of the entrepreneurs who you know are in fact and have been at red level. So we're going to distinguish what red, yellow, orange are and be honest. This diagnostic of all that I know and all the ways you can grow is for you to see what's available to you, what's possible for you, right? So here are the levels in wealth dynamics. And you don't have to be or go all the way up to like the highest level. You just understand that they're available, that there's something possible here for you in relation to each of these. And you can't win a game you don't know that you're playing. So if you start playing each level as a game, then eventually you can win each of the games and get beyond them, right? So let's start with level one. Infrared, you're going deeper into debt month after month just to stay alive, just to survive financially. This is the victim. It's difficult. You are the greatest liability for the people around you and the people you're trying to serve if you're the bottleneck for your business's flourishing. Loud and proud, people, who the fuck has experienced this as an entrepreneur? Yeah, it's time for this to end. So why am I putting you through these diagnostics? So that you can grow beyond where you've been stuck, so that you can see where you've been stuck and receive support in getting unstuck. These one-on-one calls are going to be about distinguishing what is your biggest, most urgent, specific, concrete, painful problem of all the ones that we've talked about, of all the 5 dimensions of becoming a confident lover. Where are you at in this? Of all the 5 dimensions of building your business, Jonathan has already distinguished that for him, it's messaging inside the realm of marketing, right? So then there's red level, just over broke, barely paying rent, somehow making it each and every month. And you can live and die for 10 years, 20 years, the whole life history of your business or your income at that level on a trampoline, bouncing up, falling down, on a treadmill, running, but never getting anywhere, on a seesaw, going up and going right back down again. Who wants that? Probably not you. So next, there's orange level where the only bottleneck is you. You can create new clients and expand your income anytime you choose, and it's up to you. But there's only so many hours in the day. So this is where the self-employment trap becomes a real and a painful thing, where you're now stuck in working a job that you created. You're working in the business rather than on the business. So you want to get to yellow level at least, where you on autopilot have clients and income who come to you regularly, reliably, and consistently, and you have a predictable stream of income, stream of traffic into your offers without you having to lift a finger. People are scheduling calls and buying products from you, scheduling enrollment calls if you're a coach and you want them to buy a high ticket from you. So, where are you at in this? And where have you been recently? And if you're working a job, but you're able to work overtime, then you might actually be here, right? But it still depends on you. You're not free. You're just a little more free than most of humanity. So wealth dynamics provides a map and a compass to get where you want to go as an entrepreneur, as a wealth builder, as a possessor of a certain type of genius. And if you don't activate your genius, if you try to be a fish climbing a tree, it's not going to work. If you try to be a bird swimming, it's not going to work. So we want to look at where your brain is at. Literally, what has neuroplasticity over your life history left you with such that you are able to focus on people or numbers or ideas or what are systems more or less effectively. Then we find out your genius. We have you follow your genius. We get you into flow because flow comes before resources. If you're in flow, you're following the way that you ought to go. Who here believes that life should actually be easy and not a struggle? Yeah, the reason people work hard is because they're not aligned to the abundance that they are or that is theirs by birthright. We'll go back to this, right? So on scale of 1 to 10, how much are you clear on how to get out of red level? Okay. So next, if you don't know how to sell from the heart, if you don't know how to transfer inspiration and motivation into somebody else's mind and nervous system such that they see the opportunity for themselves of what you have to offer them and they say yes, if it's a good fit, then you don't have a business, you have hope, right? You have a hobby, maybe at best. So finally, if you don't know how to turn long-term plans into a structured system of execution that has you move forward over time, then what you've got is a wish. A want without a buy when is just a wish. A will with a buy when is a win. It's done on some level. So scale of 1 to 10, where are you at with all of these? All right, great.